All right, some good news today on the housing front. Existing home sales jumping by 6.5% last month as prices continue to slide. But will a cram-down provision kill any hopes for recovery? It would allow banks to renegotiate loans for troubled homeowners. Senator Dick Durbin wants it added to the stimulus plan. Republicans say it's going to drive up mortgage rates for everyone else. Will it? Let's ask Dani Babb. Dani is the author of The Accidental Landlord. You're worried about it?
I am.
Why?
For many reasons. First of all, this is a moral hazard to the nth degree. What this does is it doesn't allow banks to write down the mortgage. It allows a bankruptcy court to force the lender to write down the mortgage, which will then require that the lender maintain the toxic assets on the books at a written down amount, which is just going to pass on the cost to everyone else.
And make that lender more leery to loan to others down the road, and others to see what he's done to do that, right?
Absolutely. And we've also seen that when the mortgage modification thing came out by all these lenders, right, about 15% of the people who were applying didn't actually need the modification. They were applying because their neighbor Joe got it, and they wanted to pay less on their mortgage too. Imagine if we have a flood of bankruptcies hit the market where a judge is forcing these lenders to write down these mortgages without even doing a return on investment analysis at all.
All right, so you're saying the government should leave well enough alone. If people can't afford their home or they're in trouble, don't help them?
Absolutely. We cannot help these people. Well, first of all, the government said...
You know, the argument against that is that so many people will foreclose that it will drive real estate further down.
Well, let the lenders and the homeowners work it out. I'm all for the private sector.
Yeah, but if the lenders, if they've sold those mortgages to another party, that sold them to another party, sold them to another party, their punch is pilot. They've wiped their hands.
They're still able to modify them. I've been working with people who are modifying mortgages that are owned by more than 100 different backed organizations. So they're still modifying these loans. They're figuring out who owns them and they're modifying them. And
who's modifying?
The mortgage companies.
Yeah, but if you just said there are a bunch of different mortgage companies, how can they do that?
What I mean is, if a mortgage company owns an asset and 100 people have purchased part of that asset, the mortgage company is still legally obligated and allowed to write down that mortgage. They don't have to go get permission from these hundreds of people that own a component of it. That's all written into the original documentation when the person bought the asset.
Maybe Congress is fiddling with this when the problem could be correcting itself on its own. Do you buy these macro issues that things are stabilizing?
I do buy them. The uptick in home ownership and home sales the last couple of months we've been seeing are mostly foreclosed properties that are super cheap. Once these things get off the books, then we'll start to see stabilization, but we can't rush it. You know, the government had created this idea of let's allow everyone to be able to afford a home. Lenders lend like crazy. Now they want to say, sorry lender, I know you lended like crazy like we told you to do, but we're going to make you write down that loan for 50% of its value. It's wrong. We have to let the lender and the homeowner work it out.
Okay, Dani, thank you very much. Dani Babb, The Accidental Landlord.